Good day, folks. This is Greg Judy at Green Pastures Farm. Today we're replacing a tank that we had a little incident with this winter. It was 30 below or wind chill, 17 actual temperature below. Right here it is. We chopped a hole in the side of this tank. And so what we did with that, then we had to lower the water level down below that, which was clear down in here, and so we weren't able to fill the tank all the way up. Long story short, the cattle came in and drank out of that and busted the pipe, which is right there, busted it off the bottom of the tank. And so when it did that, of course, it was pretty much useless. This pad was poured at an angle intentionally. I tried to put just a little bit of a slope to it, so that when it rained, the rain would kind of wash all the mud and the manure and stuff off. And it's worked pretty good. It's if you have it completely flat, whatever the cows bring up here, they're going to leave right here. If you did have it completely flat, of course, you could hold maybe another 50 gallons of water in there. This is a 400-gallon tank, and I like these tanks. This is a pride of the farm. This one here was put in 2001. We got 20 years out of it, and it's still a good tank. You just can't fill it up all the way. So in an emergency, you know, you could put that in, and it would hold 300 gallons. But we had a real deal here.
Oh man, it could have been a real deal. It was a pretty easy fix.
Why don't you show them the tools we use, Isaac, here to fix this, starting with the Dremel tool.
So it obviously, you said it broke off below
the concrete.
Yep. So we had to take the Dremel with a
here it is,
this bit, and you were able to get down there and circle the PVC and cut the PVC off.
Where's it at? The one we cut. What did we do with it?
Yeah, right there. So it broke off right there, level with the concrete, and then there's a what, an 8-inch
collar around it.
So we cut it off.
But there wasn't any way to get down to the hacksaw.
No, you didn't have any room.
So I was thinking a concrete saw, cutting a chunk in the concrete.
Yeah, and then digging down and then getting your
get
the saw in there.
That little Dremel tool there was the trick.
And then also what we use the Dremel tool for is to cut the hole in the center of the tank. We used the drill and drilled holes all the way around, and then you took the little Dremel and just cleaned it up, you know, cut the rest of the excess, and
gave us a nice round hole, didn't it?
Yep. And then you're able to take this guy here, and you kind of smoothed out the circle, got it looking clean, and so we could fit the what is it, collar?
The collar on it, yep.
And then you brought out the big guns, the big Bosch hammer drill.
Yep.
To get the sleeves in for the lag bolts.
I've always went and rented one or borrowed one or just used a regular drill. Folks, that dude right there, when it drilled that hole,
it had a stopper.
And it's got a stopper there on it, so you don't drill too deep. You can set your stopper whatever length you want. That thing's got so much torque and so much speed that it drilled like you're drilling through a piece of 2x4.
Yeah, it was easy.
And then we put in our lead heads, or the concrete dowels. You stick them down in there, and then we use the lag bolts like these.
Except we used, what was it, 4-inch?
Yeah, 4-inch with those big washers on it. So how did you put those in there, Isaac? If you look at them right here on the side, there's a piece of what is that down in there?
The lead head.
Yeah.
So you got your lead head down in recessed in the concrete. It's flush with the concrete.
Yep.
And then you've got the 2 washers with a lag bolt going down the center, and you just tighten it down with a crescent.
Yep.
It's sturdy. It's not going anywhere.
One of the things I learned on over the years is get as big a washer as you can on there to give you the most surface area. So that's why I went with a little one and a great big one. And boy, It really sunk that.
I grabbed it and pulled it down.
Yeah. Yep. So this water's coming out of the pond up there on the hill, and this is the pond that Isaac and Ben fenced the watershed off.
Yep.
So the manure and the urine is not going into the pond anymore.
It's a lot cleaner than it used to be.
Yeah. It's not. Yeah, it's
I mean,
clear
it
in
looks
your
a little
hand.
cloudy, but
It's
that's
not
'cause
bad.
it's moving.
Yeah, it's moving. And we've had a lot of rain.
Yep. It
So-
used to have a nasty smell to it. You could just smell it was bad. Now
Yeah, it doesn't
it
smell.
doesn't smell like that
No.
anymore.
And you can tell when the cattle drink it. What kind of valve have we got there, Isaac?
I don't know. What is the... It's a 2-inch, isn't it?
That one there is an
brass?
1.5
Inch and a half?
Yeah.
Is it a brass one?
The brass valve.
Brass valve. So it's got an arm on it. So when we'll adjust the float, but when it comes up, it'll shut it off just like that.
Yep.
And as soon as it calls for water, you got full flow.
Yep. And that is a homemade arm. The arms that come with these are junk. They just break off. But that's a square piece of it's copper. That's a copper arm right there. And pull it up out and you see the shape of it again.
It's like it's rectangular.
Yeah, it's rectangular. It's got a hole drilled in that end. And on this end, it's got a little button that we ground into it. And that's what pushes that plunger down.
The other one, it was a cylinder, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it just would snap off.
Yep.
That's okay.
This one has never failed. And it's got a big old stainless steel cotter key holding that in. So it works just like a bathroom flow. We're letting it free flow now, but there's there's a rope on the end of that. And as it gets closer, there it is right there. Isaac's gonna grab that and tie it.
Measurement so that
so
as it goes up,
that
it'll
deal
shut it
right
off.
there. I like to have my water if you put your hand on the edge of that tank, about right there. You don't
Like
want it clear up on that lip.
You don't want it up there.
It don't hurt to have it even a little bit right there. Perfect. You want about an inch and a half freeboard there, because that, let's just say your rope would stretch on a hot day or something. Now you got a leak and it won't shut off, and you just got a big old mud pit of water going out over your tank.
I went over there earlier to turn the water on. I couldn't find the hole. There's so much grass.
Oh, for the grass around it.
Covering it.
Yeah.
I'm like walking in circles looking for it.
Can you believe this?
It's crazy.
Well, there's the cocklebur field from last year.
Look at that
that.
cereal rye.
Cereal rye, just lousy out there. And that was rye that was planted last summer. So it's still hanging around.
I don't know if it reseeded itself or it just
Yeah, I
seed
don't.
was there, went through the winter and then seeded this spring.
Yeah, I don't know. It's amazing. But you all notice we got some shade right here? Does it feel good, Isaac?
Beautiful honey locust.
Beautiful. What'd you just say?
Beautiful.
A beautiful honey locust.
Trees now.
That's a honey locust, folks. Let's look a little closer at our shade tree here. Oh gosh, it feels good under this tree. Look at that. But you know what? When I leased this farm, folks, in 2001, that honey locust was about as big around as my wrist. And now it's almost 2 foot across at the base. If you put a tape measure around that, it'd probably measure,
It's a big tree.
it's 3.5, 4 foot around. That's how
If
quick.
you look at the branches on this, so
Yep.
I was talking to a guy at the grazing school about honey locusts, and he was talking about how if you see the branches, they don't have any thorns on it.
Yep.
That's desirable because it's okay. As much thorns as they want on the trunk, you can have as many thorns because those aren't going to fall off.
Right.
It's the branches that break.
Right.
So if there's no thorns on the branches, and I don't see very many.
There's not very many
it's a
on it.
beautiful tree. I mean, there's like, you know,
A
two
few,
right there,
yep.
and maybe one. But
Yeah.
I mean, you can grab a hold of these branches and they're not.
You know what we
Not
call
stabbing you.
trunks like that, Isaac?
What?
That's an anti-rub.
Yep.
It's got anti-rub built right into the tree.
Mm-hmm.
So even when they're small, cattle aren't going to rub on that and bust it off.
Mm-hmm. Kind of protects
It
itself.
protects itself.
It's the ultimate tree. I mean, look at the shade.
Oh.
You can see there's still sunlight coming through right there.
Look at the forage under here.
But there's shade, so the animals
Yeah.
can get up underneath here.
Yep.
The grass can still grow.
Yep.
The tree's fixing nitrogen.
Yep.
It's the dappled shade, and then it's also its roots, it can be stepped on a lot. It can take a lot of compaction, so it works really well in a silver
I've never killed a honey locust with cattle.
Yeah,
oak trees I've killed them.
And they can also take a lot more nitrogen load as far as like manure and urine too, and it doesn't kill them.
Yep.
Plus, they drop pods in the fall.
Again, more food.
Yep.
And there's one more thing. The forage under a honey locust, because of this passive shade, has got a lower lignin value in it. And so it's actually better feed than that grass out there in that full sunlight.
And if it's fixing nitrogen too, it's you know, fertilizing a lot of this orchard.
It's just a beautiful circle. You know, it's everything's working together. Yeah. Where I was going with that, folks, we left a bunch of them out there. There's 2 future ones there.
A clump of them right over there.
Yeah, we got a big clump over there. I intentionally went through this farm. All those out there I intentionally left. And we probably took out 100. But the ones you see left out there, we trimmed them up and left those. And there may be a few of those come out that are still a little bit too thick. But the landowner, you want to make sure the landowner's good with it before you do this. A lot of them don't want them. And if you're leasing land and you go out there and you intentionally leave a bunch of honey locusts, you need to explain to him what you're trying to do. And he might get on board with you if you tell him you'll control them. People get freaked out. Like, here's the neighbor way over there. That far tree line we're looking at, that solid honey locust grove. There's hundreds of them over there, and now they're touching each other.
You can't hardly walk without sticking yourself.
Yeah, it's just a mess. And so he's ruined that piece of ground the neighbor has. You can't do anything with that. We don't allow that to happen. We're not going to let that happen. So, yeah. And one other thing I tell you is pretty handy. We use it occasionally, but when you need it, one of these is awful darn nice. This is a little Honda. I say little, that thing will run 2 cords.
This winter we had an ice storm.
It saved you.
And it saved my bacon. It kept the trailer warm.
Yeah. You didn't have a wood stove like we did.
Wood stove up there.
So Isaac filled this thing up with fuel, and you got up in the night at like 1 o'clock.
Yep, and refilled it.
Refilled it, and he kept his pipes from freezing, and he had a little heat.
Ben left. He went back to Massachusetts where it was nice and warm.
Yeah.
Not warm, but it wasn't storming.
He didn't lose electricity, did he? You were back in Missouri roughing it.
Yep.
Yeah, so
that was good.
I'm gonna walk out here.
I'll get this tied once it gets full.
All right, I want to look at this forage. The cow mob. That's what was so important about this water. I was kind of getting a little bit anxious. We got the cow mob coming here on Saturday. And this is Wednesday. And if I hadn't had that water, we were in a pickle. And with it broke off down below that concrete, that was kind of a sick feeling to me. I'm like, man, I hope this Dremel tool does the job. But I got the right tools, and it worked. It worked. A Dremel tool cut PVC. You can actually reach down in the collar and get it. Golly, folks. I mean, I don't know how you grow grass any better than this. I mean, this is just nuts. There's every kind of species you can imagine in here. This is Reed's canary grass right here in front of me. That stuff. There's some brome. Oh, look at that. There's our first Timothy. Ah, Timothy. Timothy seed head right there. First one I've seen of the year. Golly, that's a beautiful plant. That's what all this is. I seen it coming down the hill. We're coming to fix that tank. That's all Timothy right there, folks. All that. Very, very high palatable, super grass. Ah, here it is. I was hoping I didn't lose it. Here's my gamma grass. Volunteer gamma. Look at this, folks. Look at that gamma. Oh, they call that the ice cream grass of grasses. That is a native warm season grass. Look at it. It's coming in everywhere. There's another clump of it. Oh, here's another clump of it. Look at those blades of grass. I can see the smile on the cow's face when she takes her tongue and wraps it around her and licks it and busts it off and pulls it in her mouth. Oh my gosh, look at that clump. Look at that. That's all Eastern Gamma. And that's mixed right in amongst Kentucky 31 fescue. and clover and orchard grass and timothy. Oh, I tell you what, I could walk around out here all day. I don't care if there are ticks all over. We got in the woods yesterday, and I think I pulled off 30. I lost track at 32. I had 32 ticks just in that one expedition. But you know, you just get back and you got to derobe and get them off of you. Don't let them get fastened on. Oh my God, there's some more gamma. Look at this. Wow. What a beautiful, look how wide those blades are. You talk about catching some solar energy. It's just all over here, folks. There's clumps of eastern gamma all over this. And we didn't plant it. It just comes. But we never saw it until we got our longer rotations. We started getting longer rotations in the summertime. Your warm season grasses need that. If you're coming back too soon, you're never going to see the eastern gamma grass. I would venture a guess that most people in the Midwest have got it on their farm, but they're never going to see it. And that's because they're not grazing correctly. They're too quick, they're coming around too soon, and it just doesn't have a chance to express itself. Boy, there's a beautiful tree right there. That's a hackberry. Big old hackberry. My gosh. The old timers use the hackberry as a tool handle for their hoes and their pitchforks, shovels. Hackberry was a very durable wood. And when you worked it down into a handle, it was stout. You had to really be mistreating it to break the handle out of a hackberry shovel. You could do it, but you had to work at it. Golly, folks. Oh, there comes my little buddies. There he is. I'll get you, you little dude. Here, come to Papa. There you go. It's kind of satisfying tearing the head off of a tick, knowing that they're not going to suck the blood out of something else. I guess there's a reason for ticks, but I haven't found one yet. Isaac's over here getting ready to tie on our cord. Man, I can't wait to get the cows into here. Wow. And see, there's some seed heads on here, but there's a lot of plants that don't have seed heads. That's because we grazed them off. And we're going to be here in, well, today's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 3 days. We're going to be right here in 3 days. So we're feeling pretty good about it. Supposed to get some really heavy rain tomorrow. They're talking about storms. My hat goes off to you guys in Kansas. I hope everybody survived. Y'all had a terrible bunch of tornadoes that came through there. And I just hope everybody came out of that safe and sound. And amen. My heart's with you, because we've had some damage through wind too. Not so much tornadoes right here. Our neighbor did, but we haven't had a tornado directly hit us yet. But, you know, nature, you don't know when it's going to hit. You know, it could any time. And so just be safe out there. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. It's a beautiful day in May. And we're hoping to, well, I just posted our grazing school. It's on our website now, greenpasturesfarm.net. And people are jumping on that thing like nuts. So if you're thinking about going, if you missed the one in May, don't dilly-dally around, because it's going to fill up and there's only going to be one. We're not holding a second one. So it's September 9th and 10th. It's on a Thursday, Friday. It's a 2-day. So check it out. And we're going to see y'all down the road. Hit that subscribe button on the way out. And every one of y'all have a great day.